Go, Will.
After accepting the fact that whether he wanted to or not, asking Hannibal for help was the best course of action. After over 3 years of keeping Hannibal out of his mind, Will once again had to come face to face with his former friend. Will needed Hannibal's assistance to help profile the Tooth Fairy killer, but he had to be on his best guard to ward off any attempt of Hannibal trying to pry around inside his head. Alana was also doing her very best as well to try and help Will keep up his guard. She knows almost as well as anyone how vulnerable Will's mind is, especially when someone like Hannibal is attempting to get inside it. And if these visits are going to be a regular occurrence, Will is going to have a hell of a job to do if he's going to keep Hannibal's true influence permanently out of his head. This week also brought us the return of one of our leading ladies. Freddie Lowndes is back and up to no good, which is nothing new. She was clearly trying to bring out the worst in Will, something that she's been trying to do since day one. Elsewhere, Rebecca McLean also made her debut this week as Dollarhyde's blind co-worker. And for the first time in Dollarhyde's life, he began to feel at ease in the company of another person. Dollarhyde is someone who has always been very conscious of his aspects, his appearance, speech, and the lingering gaze of others. But with Rebecca, she is able to provide him with comfort. He is able to lift his gaze up from the ground and to look at someone who can't look back. And with this newfound comfort entering Dollarhyde's life at a vital time when he is intent on his becoming, would she begin to cause an inner conflict with Dollarhyde's psyche, or would he persist and follow through with his plan to complete his becoming? Welcome to the top 5 moments of the episode, followed by the overall verdict.
You just came here to look at me. Came to get the old scent again.
Will re-enters the Baltimore State Hospital for the criminally insane for the first time since he was a patient there. Will knew that Hannibal's input into helping profile the killer could very well prove vital, and it could end up pointing him in the right direction to help catch the Tooth Fairy killer.
Let me have the file. An hour and we can discuss it like old times.
Thank you.
Your cogs are turning, Hannibal. I can hear them clicking.
After speaking with Will, Alana knew that Hannibal was up to something, and to try and keep him in line and for him to behave himself, Alana threatens him with the one thing she believes that he still holds dear: his dignity.
You'll have nothing but indignity from the company of the dead.
I just want to know if you're smiling or frowning. I want to know whether to just shut up or not.
After meeting Rebecca, Dollarhyde begins to feel a slight ease in her company. He gives her a ride home, and after getting to know a little more about her, she tells him the fact that she doesn't feel any pity within his actions or voice is something that she really likes.
Trust me. I'm smiling.
It takes one to catch one.
It takes 2 to catch one.
As Jack visits Hannibal, the pair begin to square off in querying each other on their true intentions. Jack knows that Will has never been more effective when Hannibal is inside his head, but letting Hannibal get too far is a risk that Jack is fully aware of.
Bella used to say your face was all scars if you knew how to look. There's always room for a few more.
dollar collector. I wanted to tell you that I am delighted that you have taken an interest in me.
After receiving a call from his attorney, Hannibal quickly realises it's someone different entirely, and with Dollarhyde on the line and no listening ears to their conversation, Hannibal is curious and asks the question he was dying to know the answer to.
What are you becoming?
My great red dragon.
My overall verdict for this week's episode of Hannibal is a 9 out of 10. After kicking off the episode with an in-depth conversation between Hannibal and Will, we were treated to some expertly placed backstory to fill in the blanks of Abigail's puzzle. Even as we jumped back to the end of season 1 as we watched Hannibal help Abigail fake her death, the scene felt perfectly placed even in today's storyline. Hannibal spoke to Will about his family, and in the past both Hannibal and Will at the time viewed Abigail as their own family when they were all together. Hannibal described her to Will as a surrogate daughter, which was quite fitting, but the more we watched Abigail alone around Hannibal, you could see her falling deeper and deeper into his dark spell. I do wonder if we'll ever find out what Beverly originally discovered in that cellar just before she met her end. Who knows? Maybe if we're lucky we'll get the answers to that sometime in the near future as well. Will has to be very careful though. You can clearly tell and see the toll that is beginning to resurface as he is working on these Red Dragon murders. And if there are any more visits from Will to Hannibal, I have no doubt that Hannibal will be able to smell it. And if Hannibal can squeeze his way into any crack or weakness in Will's mind, you know for a fact that he will not hesitate. Now on to the Red Dragon. This week really did begin to delve deeper into Dollarhyde himself. Last week we saw the outcome of his terrifying murder scenes as he obsessed with himself, his stories and his cutouts of Dr. Lecter, which he collected in his, quite frankly, enormously large book. But this week showed us another side of Dollarhyde, a much lighter side. Dollarhyde is someone who has always struggled to fit in, struggled to make a connection, an outcast as it were. Someone who has never and probably never will truly feel comfortable in a normal society. But in him meeting Rebecca for the first time, his visions for his becoming are now starting to get cloudy. She insisted on him talking through his speech impediment, holding no judgment whatsoever, and that allowed Dollarhyde to at least partly begin to feel comfortable in her company, even if he is still scary as hell to watch. Freddie made her return as she continues with her pursuit of the next big story, and as it happens, she's got her eye perfectly on the Red Dragon. She has always threatened Will in the past, and that is no different here. She's never hesitated in crossing the line in that regard, and her mere mention of arriving at one of Dollarhyde's murder scenes when the blood was still wet is a testament to her doing whatever it takes to get the next cover story. You do have to wonder though, she got too close with Gideon back in season 1 when he rearranged Dr. Chilton's internals, so if the same circumstances were to strike her once again and she ends up coming face to face with the Red Dragon, I would fear for Freddie, because Francis Dollarhyde has a much more complicated mindset. So if I had some advice to give Freddie, it would be stay away from this killer. But as we all know, Freddie has never been one to heed advice. You never know though, that's my theory on the matter. She might never even run into Dollarhyde, but the way it's unfolding in front of my eyes, and if the past events are anything to go by, I would not bet against it. Now we ended the episode on a quite brilliant phone call between Dollarhyde and Hannibal. Dollarhyde knows that Hannibal is interested in him, and I agree with Dollarhyde. I don't think Hannibal would tell anyone about him, even if he knew his real identity. At least not directly anyway. Sure, he might give Will some breadcrumbs to follow here and there, but he would never outright reveal the truth. Hannibal loves knowledge, and knowledge is power. And if Hannibal gets another chance to talk to Dollarhyde, you can bet that he will begin his own mind games to see if he can corrupt the mind of the Red Dragon. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the review, Continue your support for Hannibal in any way you can, and I'll see you next week.
What are you becoming?